You said like VShojo could contact Good Smile for Figure, but an indie would have a much harder time getting something like that. I wouldn't put it into two buckets and say like people in corpos have an easier time with this and people who are indie have a harder time with this. That depends on the person. There are people who are indie who have the most connections because they networked a certain way so that they just know people, and there are some corpos who have done that as well. They have staff that have networked. If you join a corpo, it's more likely that they do already have those connections. You don't have to do it yourself as an indie and start from the bottom, at least. But there are connections that I have that they didn't have any direct connections to. I had my own people at certain companies, and I could be like, yo, I want to do this. I could just DM someone from X company and be like, I want to do this, you know? Like, what's a good example? Like Novel Horizons wanted to do some merch at WeebCon. They just contacted me straight and were like, yo, you want to go to WeebCon? You want to do meet and greet there? We could do merch. And I said, okay. They only asked me because like they knew me well. You know, right? That's a connection. That's it. So that's just how it works. So when you're indie, you're just like one guy meeting all these people. But when you're in a company, they're doing this on behalf of a lot of creators. So they usually have a little more leverage to like get people to do this stuff with them. You know what I mean? It's all the same thing, really. It's all the same thing. It's just one has more people working on it in a corpo, whereas an indie has like a couple of staff they've hired in, maybe more clout. Yeah, I mean, brand names help. You know, I could go to a company and I could be like, hey, it's me, GEEGA. And they're like, we don't know you. And I could be like, well, I'm in this company has, and I list out all the people that are in it. And I'm like, I'm part of this. And they might see that and go, oh, I didn't know. Come right in, madame. And they open the door and I walk in to the boutique. You know, like that can happen. Plenty of them don't say you, I don't know who you are. You just have to like talk to them a bit more to get to that point. It just kind of like reduces the amount of talking you have to do to get a foot in the door if you're part of like a thing that you can just point at. But it doesn't really change that much. It just makes that initial part a bit easier.